Hey guys, kind of a miserable day today. So we're gonna get back into that garage, and I'm gonna get back at that buggy. I've had kind of a long break from it. We had to actually wheel it out of the garage, and it's a black one. It's really nice in the rain. But I had to take a break from it because we had to redo some stuff in the garage, so I had to wheel it out, and it's still in kind of a mess. You can kind of see it needs to be cleaned up. If you're going to do some work on stuff, you might as well clean everything up and get it ready for work. What I'm gonna do, I'm not really sure yet. It needs so much stuff. Sometimes I bounce back and forth and make things happen. But one thing I do have to do is I had to give the wife back her lights from up top. So I have got an old chandelier that I can use. So maybe I'll pop that up there and get that done. And then I'll have the light. As you can see, there's not a lot of light in here. Especially to show stuff that I'm doing. So I'm gonna get some lights up there and yeah, maybe do some welding and clean up. And it's really damp today, so I think I'm gonna first of all start that fire. Alrighty, I was able to get some lights set up, just temporary ones, so I can kind of see what I'm doing here. But next we're gonna tackle this piece. Goes right here, and it's really what holds my latch on for my hood. But now we had a little bit of a problem, or not a problem, but just something that I didn't foresee, I guess, is that when I came in with the dovetail, I also dropped down, just because of the angle that it was on, I also dropped down about an inch. So now this piece is too long. And same with these other two pieces. So what I'm going to have to do is pretty much chop them down so that they sit a little bit lower. I'll find out what that distance is, get all my lines straight and make some lines. And then I'll cut those out, drop them a little bit, and re-weld everything back together. And then we should be able to get this piece on. Now, another part about this is that this piece has to, you can see I've got some lines already marked. This piece has to fold around to this piece right here. So I've got to be kind of dead on and make sure that my sides look the same and everything like that. So that's what I'm doing today, finally getting back at it. Like I said, I had to take quite a long break from it, but I'm not in a hurry to finish it. I got the black one for light wheeling, and that's good enough for me right now. You know, I'm having fun building too, and that's half the fun right there. But I think before I do that, I think I'm gonna get rid of this rad, get it out of the way. Slip with a screwdriver or something, you bash into it, and there's nothing really protecting it right now. So I'll dig that out first, and thank myself later. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off in the middle. I'm going to cut it in the middle just so I have easy way of re-welding it. It's not down here and nothing else in the way. I am going to cut these ones like just straight down the side and then straight out, so kind of an L. And then I'll just lower them whatever they need to, tack them up and make it all fit. I was kind of glad I did take out that rad. I didn't even notice it. I was just barely touching the top of my rad cap. And I think the vibration stuff, that would have ended up in problems later on. The rad's got to be relocated anyway, so we will just quickly cut this. And yeah, go from there. I don't have a face shield, so I'm just wearing safety glasses and my welding mask just to kind of please. Okay, so now what I've done is I've put this piece back on, and I'm going to actually latch everything and form up my edge of hood with where it's supposed to sit there, and see where I'm at. So now I can come down, put everything where it's supposed to go, and my lines will match up, or at least my head line across here. That's looking pretty good to me. Oh, I forgot my pen. Okay, I got my pen. Okay, so let's just make this perfect. That's pretty much the distance that we're going to have to take off, and then re-put everything the way it's supposed to be. I'd have to kind of bend this back and forth and wiggle this, but at least it fits with the proper amount of gap while it's closed, right? So, and then I'll do the same with this tab and this tab, and just put it where it needs to go. I've got overhang on both sides, so that some will have to be cut off and then tapered in like we did with the dovetail and the fenders. This is all kind of newish territory. Like I've never done any of this type of stuff, so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. And if you guys choose to do something to this, well, then you'll know mistakes and pros and cons and all that jazz. Alright, I think we're there. Let's do it. Okay, so now I can just go ahead and tack everything up. I've got my hood line straight, so let's see where that gets us. Gotta be careful not to lean on it and move it, just tacking things. And there we have it. Nothing moved, and I should be able to unbolt this now and start making my cuts and start folding this over. And whenever I bolt it back up, it should just be right there. I'll after I take it off, I'll give these a little bit better welding. I'll have more room and everything. But yeah, so there we are. Okay, now I'm not going to explain this time. I've got several other videos that show how I bend the metal and stuff, and like for the dovetail and stuff like that, and how I make it move and stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and try to get that done. Okay, so there's that. I've got it pretty close, you know. That's flush, and that's, you know, so I'm just moving it that much. This piece had to come out. It's this one fits in there. I'll have to actually shape it though before I put it in. But before I do that, I still have to take this part off and, well, do the other side. And so I won't weld that up yet, but it's sitting where it needs to sit. What I'm gonna do now is now I just took this line, like everything else, I just use reference points. I went straight off here, which is about where the hood starts to turn, I guess. And it matches the headlight. I've had the headlight in there, so it does fit up inside and kind of give that hooded headlight look, I guess, like on a Charger or something. So I came off here. Now I didn't want a lot of bend here, so I just came out further, and then I knew I had to come in a lot more. So then they got about an inch up to about here, and then about 3/4 of an inch on these ones, because I had to come in hard here. So I'm going to transfer those lines over there. I'll just kind of measure. Doesn't have to be exact, because really what you have to do is these cuts that were made along here actually had to be cut out wider at this end a little bit, like we're talking 1/8 of an inch more on a couple of them, so that they would actually close. The amount that I got out of my 1/8 grinder wasn't enough, so I had to take from this corner back another 1/8 of an inch out in certain ones. You'll figure it out as you're folding it over. Just close your hood, but the hood, you know, that line matches pretty good, and then it goes into the fender and everything's coming along. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and start at it. Okay, so there we go. Got all my lines put in. This side will take a lot less time, just for the simple reason of I had to figure out all these cuts, and there's a lot of staring too. Like, be hesitant with your cuts, and look it over as many times as you need to. Sit back, have a beer, a couple coffees, and just stare at it and figure out where all your problems are going to lay before you start, you know, chopping away at stuff, always. But that's the best advice I could give you. But yeah, this side's going to go a lot easier. It's just, I got my lines. I don't have to figure them out. It's pretty much just, I'm going to be cutting for a bit now. Okay, so that's that part cut, and really just with my hands, I kind of just put a little bit of pressure on this side, and it just wants to fold over. The second side always goes faster than the first side, where you got to figure everything out and be all careful. This side just cut all my lines, and it worked pretty good. Okay, so I've got this pretty much where I want it. It's not welded or tacked or anything like that. It's just kind of cut, but you know, it's holding itself, so I have to reattach a quick piece, and I'm gonna go ahead and tack that up. And I was able to get those Yamaha Grizzly headlights in, and that's kind of that hooded look, I guess, kind of like a Challenger, where it's overhanging the light itself. It's not actually, like, it doesn't hinder the light at all. I suppose this side, we'll focus on that side. But everything is matching up nicely, I'd say. Okay, so as you can see, the light is in there and it fits nicely, except for right here. It just kind of pushes out on the fender, and I don't want that. I need that fender to come in, and well, once it was bolted in, more or less just go like that, right? So I'm just going to take off some of this, of the plastic for the light. Okay, so there we go. We trimmed up the lights. They fit in there nice, and it's starting to look like what was in my mind when I first started this project. I think we're going to cut her off there, guys. I have other work to do. I have to put in something that attaches from here to here, and that will make me move this. So I can't do the hood corners without having a final idea of where this line is going to, because the hood will have to match that line the whole time. So I can't put those in yet, but I will be getting right back at it pretty quick here. If you guys are liking this, definitely hit that subscribe button, and we will get lots of these out to you guys. It's looking like it's going to be a summer for getting stuff done. Take her easy, guys.